We're going to give you top 3 steps to survive the brutal summer heat. Let's get into it. We're in central Indiana here, and we have a brutal 6 days of it was supposed to be 96-degree weather days. Right now, it feels like 101. We have 6 days of almost 95 degrees every single day here. So the garden is struggling.
The number one tip to survive the brutal heat that we are going through right now is to water. And the 2 tips to watering is you got to do it in the early morning, like before 9 o'clock in the morning, or to do it in the evening. Do not water in the afternoon. The leaves will get burnt. The leaves are nice and hot from all the sun, and they will get burnt if you water them. The plants will not do well. So you can water in the evening, like I'm doing now, or early morning. Flowers just need to be mowed. I'm keeping an eye on some of my early seedlings. And so when you water, you want to make sure that you water everything nice and deep. So right now, after I go through it once, the ground is still going to be dry underneath. It takes a while for the water to soak through. So you want to make sure you give everything a nice deep soak. Another thing I do is I water the seedlings. So there's a few seeds that I started right here in this bed. So you want to make sure that you water them more. Their roots are not very deep, so they definitely need to be watered more. So like right here, look at this little baby. So I have a little seed coming through. So you want to make sure that you water those so they survive. Another thing that needs water in these crazy hot summers are things in pots. So I have these 3 mums, and those dry out like crazy. Like you can water in the morning, and then by evening it's gonna be dry. So you want to make sure that you water those nicely. So right now I water them, and then probably a little bit later I'll come back and water again, because when the soil is really dry, the water just goes right through the pot. So you want to make sure that it soaks in the pot. So water a little bit, leave it alone, come back, and then water it again.
right, next we're going to talk about shade to survive this summer brutal heat wave out here in central Indiana, zone 6B. So next we have is shade, right? So one thing that we've used over the years, we have shade cloth. So right now this is burlap. We have can hold water sometimes and make it heavy, but so we have a burlap sack or roll here. You can also buy most shade cloths or like a black composite. You can use that as well, kind of like a screen. You can use a screen if you have that for a nice shade cloth. So I'll just show you here, have a couple clips from the kitchen. Essentially, we pulled out all of our lettuce here. Right over here, just bolted, went straight from spring to brutal summer. So we pulled out all the lettuce, but I'll kind of show you here. We just take the burlap sack and we're just going to kind of clip it up here and put it on the trellis. So nothing to it. You can put a board down here or a T-post, anything you want. Obviously, you got extra room to work with. You can cut this if necessary, but it really just kind of creates a nice shade tent. I'll show you here kind of what that looks like underneath. So here's what we look like underneath. We have cucumbers under here and cantaloupe. So nice little shade tent that's doubled up right now on the burlap. So pretty good shade there. So really helpful. Again, this just comes in a roll. This is probably about 15 feet. You can just cut that as you need. Very helpful. Some of this over here is wilting pretty good, but cucumbers, they'll be fine. They're going to be taken off here. Again, kind of back end here. Got some great shade so that they can have better odds of survival here. Now we won't necessarily leave this up all the time, but just maybe in kind of early afternoon to late in the day, we'll leave it on there. Maybe take that on the next day. Also want to show you here, we made these a couple years ago. Extremely cheap, extremely easy. Two things that I love the most. We have just, I think, 1/2-inch PVC from Lowe's. We also have just leftover aluminum, shaft tomato stakes here. Just snip them off with snippers or bend them back and forth. Easy, and then you just shove those right in the PVC. And these things really have done well, out in the sun with the UV rays and everything like that. They're still flexible. And so really we'll just come over here. We have Tanya's peppers. We'll just shove that in the ground. Put this guy over here. And then we've created a little buffer that we can also get some of that shade cloth, cut it to size, make a little hoop house for our peppers, and just make sure that we're not getting those roasted. So another thing we have here is the cattle panel that we brought in from Tractor Supply. So we have this. This is kind of our big wall of peas, cucumbers, anything that's going to hold some weight, have a lot of growth on it. So anyway, as you know, we had peas. Tanya had peas all over this wall. She did. So talking about shade, the peas were done. We harvested everything, but she left those up for most of this week, and just really to cast shade on some of the flowers here and the peppers. So that was helpful just to kind of keep the ground moist, create that additional shade as a buffer, kind of like a fence. And then as you saw in the other video, she went ahead and just ripped out all those peas as we're kind of coming to the end of the week here with the heat, and then we're going to plant additional things on this row to start growing up there. So you can use existing plants to create that buffer and shade zone for you. It's free, it's easy, and I'll show you some more over here that we have still laying out right now. All right, we're back over here in the non-fence garden. We have a whole area here of flowers, Tanya's flowers. So again, talking about shade, we have all of these poppies right here. They bloomed. They're done. The bees have been all over them, the honeybees. So anyway, they're dead. Tanya is just going to go ahead and leave those here. So they're just creating shed over the bed, allowing that dirt not to dry out. So creating that shade barrier for us. So I think the Sweet Williams, she's going to go ahead and deadhead those for us, and those will stay in the ground as well. But again, just kind of the poppies here finishing up. I'm going to let those be a ground cover. We'll probably rip those out in the next couple days, but kind of create that barrier for us. One other thing we have here lastly is like pots. We have a couple mums here that we actually overwintered, look really good. So we have 3 of those, essentially things in pots. Obviously, you're going to dry out way faster, so we're having to water those, keep a really close eye on those. So we have a couple mums. We also have the basil that we planted in mass quantities. So we're selling some of those, but as we have those, obviously those are drying out extremely fast here in the 95-degree heat. So we're having to move some of these into the shade by the house. Sun comes in from that side, so we're having to move those close to the house, get those out of the sun to survive as well. So just make sure that you're watching your potted plants outside as well. All right, that pretty much wraps it up for our summer tips. 3 tips for surviving the brutal heat wave wherever you are right now. So if that was helpful, comment below if you have any ideas or what you're doing to survive the brutal heat wave. Also, give us a like, a thumbs up there if this has been helpful for some of these tips, or if you learned anything else new today. We'd appreciate it. So make sure you subscribe for real life gardening tips here in Central Indiana. No filters, no fluff, just sweat, soil, and self-reliance. Thanks so much. Okay, this guy looks like he's ready to take off here any second from the runway. You are clear for takeoff.